All right, AP World students, we're going to really focus in today on period 3, that's 600 to 1450, and I'm going to take you through everything you have to know about key concept 3.3. So this is high level history. I'm Amanda, and I'm helping you earn college credit for AP World. So let's jump on in. I'm going to jump up to the top box over here, so I'll stick around so I can explain. And key concept 3.3 is all about economic productivity. So, if you've already watched 3.1, that one was all about trade. And in 3.2, we talked about the actual politics of the state building that was happening. And in this key concept, we're going to focus more on the consequences of some of these things. So let's jump in. So part of what we're seeing in this time period is just a general increase in production. We have more crops and better crops. So for example, Champa rice. Champa rice would be, really popular in East and Southeast Asia, and they would use things like terrace farming to grow Champa rice, and it's fast ripening, so you can actually produce it. You can harvest it twice in a year rather than just once. And if you're, following some of the other things I'm posting, the major thing that I've told you is that more food always equals more people. So the population in these regions will increase because there's just more food available. Food keeps people alive. So another major consequence of all of this trade is urbanization. So you're going to really see a rise of new cities. Some of the classical cities fell, like Athens, Rome, and Chang'an, but Venice, Calcutta, Baghdad are rising, and Baghdad, for example, is one of the largest cities in this time period. It is totally thriving, huge population, and it's because, why do we have such a shift in urbanization? So there's a couple of reasons here. Some of the older cities, some of those classical cities fell because of invasions, because of disease, because of just decline in agriculture, right? So the Little Ice Age kind of leads to that. But it's going to rise because of the shifts in trade, the shifts in empires. There'll be new cities that will develop. So just touch on a little bit about the Little Ice Age. This is something that comes up it kind of goes across the time periods, right? So you can kind of see where the actual temperature will start to fall is kind of at the end of this time period, and then it stays kind of low for almost a millennia. And the Little Ice Age is just a really important thing to know. It's especially in terms of historical context of things going on in between years, 1000 and 1900. So, a change in climate affects how people can produce food, the decisions that they make in terms of conquest, in terms of migrations. And so this is a big thing that you can apply to historical context for a lot of different developments. So there's also some, fun new social changes. Some of them aren't as actual fun. But one of the things we're going to start to see is freeing of peasants will start. And that will obviously continue further into period 4 and especially into period 5. Nomadic pastoralists, that's mostly your Mongol empire, where you have people that are nomads, that are not settled, that are following herds, and that would be their pastoralism. Economic guilds will be a part of this time period, and coerced labor is a big deal in period 4, but it starts in this time period, and there's slavery before this time period as well, but just having different systems of coerced labor and being kind of diverse in how you're doing that is happening in this time period. There are religious revolts that happen. You have the White Lotus Rebellion or the Red Turban Rebellion in China, and that is kind of overthrowing the Yuan dynasty to become the Ming dynasty. And the Ming dynasty lasts for quite a while. And then just a spread of religions will really affect the social structure of different regions. So for example, you've got changing of gender relations, the spread of Buddhism is a big factor in this time period. And Buddhism kind of allows some new opportunities for women, and so did Islam. And so because of the spread of those two religions, you will have a change in gender relations, in the role of women. Literacy rates will also increase as a result of the spread of religion. So for like Buddhism, for example, women could participate in like Buddhist nunneries, and through that would become literate, and so literacy rates would increase. You also have an increase of literacy because of developments in technology like paper. And so with paper, you can actually just spread documents further. And it's not like a mass production quite yet, but we're able to spread documents to places that they didn't exist, and literacy rates will increase. And then the family structure in and of itself will start to change as well, with like amount of children that people have, for example. So this is your key concept 3.3. It's sort of a quick key concept where you're just sort of focusing on some of the consequences of everything that happened in the earlier key concepts for period 3. This is a lot about changes. So you can really look at, like a CCOT of period 3 and think through some of the social changes, some of the economic changes, and then some of the cultural changes as well. And that is what this key concept is really focused on. So if you haven't already, go back and watch 3.1 and 3.2, and you can continue on from here into key concept 4.1. So we'll jump into, everything that's going on after 1450 in there. So, I'll see you in 4.1. Hey, this is High Level History, and I'm Amanda Duemeril. If you're an AP World student, tell me how it's going in the comments below. And for more AP World content and review, be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at High Level History.